Okay, good evening. The time is 6 o'clock, and this is the June 18th meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. We will convene into regular session at 6:30. We're going to convene into our workshop to review the cases, but we'll be back shortly. So with that, I'll convene into our work session. I heard some feedback, but it was...
Kent, can you hear us?
I can, yes.
There it is.
Okay, so we're good to go here. Are we on, Cam? Okay, so item 2, our work session. We'll start with the calling of the roll. I'm Edmund Haas, Chairman of the Commission, and I hear feedback here. But, so Commission members Freddie Guerra. Here. Cindy Bishop, Sue Blankenship.
Present.
Cindy Bishop.
Here also.
And we have Kent Halfman. Virtually, Kent, are you out there?
Kent Hafeman it is, yes.
Kent Hafman it is, he's here. And we should have one other, John Dobmeyer, and then we know that Ed Moore is going to be out today. So with that, I'll turn it over to Matt to introduce staff and the cases.
Thank you, Chairman Haas. Tonight's staff members include myself, Matt Steer, Development Services Administrator, Aaron Tainter, the Assistant Director of Public Works, Bob Hager, City Attorney, Jacqueline Nivens, Senior Administrative Assistant, and Cammie McGee, Board Secretary.
I think there's some public that's thinking they can come in and not sure, standing in that doorway.
Yeah, they can come in. For sure.
Yeah, they were peeking and then they weren't sure.
Because we're still
Yeah, you can just sit right over here. Okay. Sorry about that.
Okay, item 1.
All right, so the first case on the agenda is the St. Constantine SUP. And it's a really good use of that space. They're proposing to be there for 2 years. The first year they're going to have 60 students, second year 80 students. But they've written 100 students max enrollment into the SUP, just to give them a little wiggle room in the event that they need more enrollment.
Sorry.
They're proposing pre-K 3 through 12th grade, and the hours will be Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They provided a traffic circulation plan. They have up to 36 vehicles queuing on site, and then at the drop-off, they've got 3 vehicles dropping off kids and picking up kids at the same time. So it should go pretty quick. There was a recommendation within the parking study that the parents not arrive too early, that they arrive, that they not sit there and queue so that traffic doesn't get backed up onto MacArthur. We sent out notices, 14 notices within 200 feet and 146 notices within 800 feet. We did get one written letter from a neighbor within the 800 feet, and they did have concerns about the traffic in the area, it's particularly at the intersection of Starleaf and MacArthur. They had some safety concerns. There was not adequate signage, and they had concerns about River Chase School already causing traffic problems. But besides that, we didn't receive any other responses in favor or in opposition, and we are recommending approval.
With the River Chase of the elementary school there, were there any concerns by staff, the engineering department, on traffic operations? aside from the queuing, back at MacArthur?
For the River Chase School?
No, for
Or
this,
for this
the
school?
proposed application?
No.
Thinking about both schools in
Well, so-
session?
Yeah, so this has hours that are different than the River Chase. And then River Chase comes off Starleaf. So these folks go directly into their site off
Okay.
of MacArthur. So there's not a conflict there. But I don't want to speak for our engineering department.
You're right in that,
Yeah,
yes.
and so I think engineering has an answer to the opposition letter that was sent in.
Well, how many students are at River Chase?
I'm
Is
not
that
sure
like
they're
a
enrolled.
600 student kind of?
It's probably
Yeah,
a
it's
typical elementary,
an elementary.
650, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this is a really small school, and they're occupying it at times when it's not currently occupied. I think it's a really good use of the facility.
So if River Chase were some point to change its school hours, it'd be to be at the same time as this school, do you think there would be a problem?
Well, they're getting to it from different places, right? So-
Right, for some reason, my links aren't working on my iPad, so I
So-
can't see the traffic
Yeah,
flowing, but
so
yes.
I, I mean, maybe there could be problems at the ultimate peak hour, but that's like, very short
Hypothetically.
period of time.
Matt, I guess the only question I have is, there's a lot of reliance on parents complying voluntarily
Right.
with the requirement, but what happens if that does not, again, parents start showing up early, so how's
Yeah,
that gonna be
well,
addressed?
so they do have staff, kind of on site, and the teachers are out there directing traffic and stuff, so I'm sure that you can ask them what they would do, but,
Okay,
my experience is you get an email sent out from the headmaster
yeah,
saying, hey, do it a certain way. So,
okay.
any other questions on that one?
Matt, you may want to, there is another parking lot that's adjacent to the primary parking lot for the church, and the city's in the process of purchasing that.
That's
and
right.
should close before this goes to council.
Right. So they're not even impacting that.
Right, but that's something that's under our future, just so
Right.
that they understand there may be a question, hey, what about that parking lot to the
Mhm.
south? We're
Are
in the
they-
process of
Are
purchasing
they
that.
contiguous? I mean, can you drive from one parking lot to the other currently? No.
You have to actually get on Starleaf to get
And then
into
go
that
around.
parking lot.
Okay.
Once you go
Next.
across the grass.
Next case is the Victory
You know
at
they will.
Coppell. It's the Victory at Coppell replat for a concept plan that was approved in late last year, right? So this is Victory when they came through all the various revisions. They had revisions to four of the 11 lots. Actually, they detail planned 4 of the 11 lots. And so this is to go in and plat that, because they never formally platted it. They're wanting to get the project under construction. So once they get that platted, then if the next case on the agenda gets approved, then they'll have to come back and replat the portions that are being affected, which are 2 lots.
Aren't they already under construction?
I think they've got some grading that they're doing, but they're allowed to do
Yeah,
that.
they have a lot of pipe out there on site too.
Yeah. Aaron, do you know how far along they are on that project?
I think they're still working on the rough grading and the site work. They haven't done any building
Yeah.
pads that I know of yet.
Okay, yeah.
That's part of site grading, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah, so we have not issued any permits through any building permits. So we're waiting on the plat to get recorded before we do that. But yeah, so it's kind of an unusual plat because they've got 2 exhibits, one that shows the abandonment of right-of-way, and then one that shows the dedication of certain fire lanes and other easements, as well as the existing easements. So that's typically what we have, but, they didn't want to confuse the ultimate final plat or replat with the abandonment because it was very complicated. So The next case, any questions on the replat case? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And just to get, this is like the third time we've seen this development, right? I
Right.
think. But, so I was looking at this chart, it had like proposed,
That's on the next one.
oh, that's the next one, okay, never mind, I'll save my question.
Okay. Okay, yep. So the next case is the same, same development, but this is in the northeast corner of that development. Really, they're only affecting two of the lots, which is Lot 6R and Lot 7R. They're adjusting the lot line to give an acre from Lot 6R to Lot 7R to make room for a hotel development. So they're conceptually planning the northern site that's 0.88 acres, and then the southern tract, or southern lot, is 2.46 acres, and that's the Town Place Suites site. So it's a 5-story, 131-room hotel. They market it as an extended stay hotel, but they've dropped out one or two of our requirements, kitchen requirements, to make it be considered an extended stay. So essentially, it follows our straight hotel requirements. The reason that's important is our extended stay or residence hotel requirements requires not more than 22 units per acre. Well, so now that they've eliminated those components of their kitchen, they don't need to meet that 22 unit per acre requirement. So that's just something they've done so that they can fall within the hotel category. And I thought it was very interesting, but they do comply with Coppell ordinance requirements in everything except for the parking. They're asking for a parking exception. They've got 132 parking spaces proposed, and let's see here, there was 146 parking spaces that were required. They have issued a letter that basically says that their hotel serves corporate travelers coming from the airport. They typically Uber or use rideshare, and they've got 2 shuttles that go to and from the hotel. So with that explanation, staff is in support of the request. It makes sense. They're in the hotel business. They know exactly what parking they need and what they don't. We have issued exceptions in the past for hotels for parking based on them having a hotel shuttle or an airport shuttle. So the look of the hotel is really nice. They're matching all the approved building materials for the development for the conceptual PD. So I have made it a condition that if they do come and change to one of the materials that isn't currently approved as part of the PD, that they'll have to come back through and ask council, because it's typical with hotels. They make revisions. They put EFS where there's stucco. They put stone where there's brick and this and that. So if they're doing something that's outside of the box, then we will require that they go back to council. Really, that was our only concern. I did give you guys an inventory of the hotels, or I have it on our slide. And so we do have 14 active, or 14 hotels that have been approved. And I'll go through which ones have been approved, which ones are under construction, and which ones haven't been permitted. So,
Do they have any kind of shared agreements in place for parking if whatever reason parking changes?
that I'm not sure if there's a cross parking agreement, but that was a suggestion, so if they find out ultimately they're not meeting the parking, there's enough parking within the development to establish one of those agreements.
So what stick do we have? I mean, we're going to potentially grant this variance to parking, and is it based on complaints that come in that there's cars parked out on Dividend or who knows what?
Well,
Do we have any
we're
recourse
pretty comfortable,
Okay.
that there's 131 rooms and they're providing 132 spaces. And, not all of the people occupying the rooms are gonna need cars.
And there's no,
Right, but you also have employees, right?
Yeah, I think there's
Can we-
22
Can we
total.
tie the requirement of this PD that require them to have a shuttle? Because if they sell out the hotel and then next
Yeah.
end user isn't, have a
Yeah, I
shuttle.
think that's good, is, you know, putting that as a condition. I think that's a really good
I
idea.
mean, I don't doubt that there's a lot of Uber and shuttle that
Yeah, I don't
reduce it.
either.
I concur with that, so we don't overpark the site.
Right.
Just that there's some recourse that we have, and that's a great idea, so.
Yeah. And even if you wanted to put a condition in there that, you know, if we receive complaints, I don't know how to do it, or,
Yeah,
if they you could ask the applicant if they're open to a cross-parking agreement, just to make sure that in the event, you know, because they still control the property, or they have some, they're buying the property from Victory Group.
If it becomes a problem, we can always instigate to a zoning change for them.
Yeah, which we haven't ever done, you know.
First time for
That's a good one.
Oh, but definitely ask the applicant, because they might say, yeah, well, we can do a cross-parking agreement, and then that won't even be an issue.
are the other lots already sold off?
I'm not sure. There is a tempo that's approved to the southern property, but I'm not sure if that transaction's gone through or not.
I mean, I do have one question. So with the Residence Hotel, do we have any others in the city that have the full-size refrigerator and oven? Because I'm assuming that's what was
Yeah,
deviated from.
Mhm.
yeah. I think the Homewood Suites was given an allowance to,
Okay.
you know, and it didn't meet the 22 units per acre,
Okay,
and there might have been one of the others that have been approved.
okay.
Any other questions on the hotel case?
Cindy, didn't you have a question on the?
Oh, yeah, on the chart.
Yeah, but Matt answered it, so we're
Okay.
good, thank you.
Welcome, John.
Finally.
No worries. Did you have any questions on any of the cases?
No, I don't think so.
Kent?
Your penalty is for bringing pizza next month.
Yeah.
No question.
Well, the new guy.
He hadn't had the initiation.
Wait till you see how small I can make a.
Oh, you're right, he hasn't had the initiation pizza yet. And brought that either.
Just can't have anything.
Kent, any questions on the cases?
I'm good, I'm good, let's go.
You want to go over council actions from last meeting?
Yeah, we didn't have any cases on council.
That's pretty easy to talk about then, isn't
Yes.
it?
Any other questions of staff in the pre-session? We'll adjourn the pre-session and we'll reconvene at 6:30. All righty, the time is 6:30, and we are now convening back into general session. Our first order of business is to review the minutes of our, we don't have, typically we review the minutes of our previous,
Number 5. 5 on the agenda. It's number 5 on the next page.
it is, you are correct. We review the minutes for our May 15th meeting. Are there any comments by the commission, or is there a motion by the commission?
I move to approve.
All righty, we have a motion by Commissioner Doffman. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second by Commissioner Blankenship. Cammie, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay, so I call your name. Commissioner Dobmeyer?
Aye.
Commissioner Guerra?
Aye.
Vice Chair Blankenship?
Aye.
Chairman Haas?
Aye.
Commissioner Bishop?
Aye.
And Commissioner Haveman?
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
Okay. I did, because I was looking for item 5. Is there anybody here who'd like to speak on any item not posted on tonight's agenda, that being the citizens' appearance? Seeing none. Cammie, did you receive any requests? Okay, very good. We will move on to item 6 on the agenda. That's a public hearing to consider approval of S-1113R2-SF7, that being the St. Constantine School, Lot 1, Block A, Corporation of Episcopal Diocese of Dallas, a special use permit revision to allow a school with a maximum enrollment of 100 students to operate at the Church of the Apostles, located at 322 South MacArthur Boulevard at the southeast corner of Starleaf and MacArthur, at the request of Catherine Clayton of the St. Constantine School. We have a staff presentation by Mr. Matt Steer. Matt?
Mr. Commissioners, or Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, good evening. This is item number 6. It is your first public hearing of the evening. The St. Constantine School is proposing to operate a private Christian school at the Church of the Apostles location. This will be their third campus, with 2 being located in Houston and Pittsburgh. According to the applicant, no major renovations to the building will be performed. The school will be offered to pre-kindergarten 3 through 12th grade. The hours will be Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the anticipated enrollment for the first year is 60 students, and the second year is 80 students, with a maximum being proposed to be 100 students. The only concerns staff had initially have been addressed by the traffic study and circulation plan. The plan shows stacking internal to the site and not from Starleaf Street, therefore will not conflict with River Chase Elementary. The maximum vehicular queue is 36 vehicles. There will be up to 3 vehicles loading and unloading at a time, with staff members present to assist. Recommendation of the study was for parents to arrive on time to pick up their student and not 5 to 15 minutes early, as this could potentially lead to spillover in the public right-of-way. All in all, staff is in support of the request and feels it's a good use of space that's not currently occupied during the proposed hours. We sent out 14 notices within 200 feet as required by state law, 146 courtesy notices within 800 feet. We got 0 responses within the 200 feet, and then we got 1 response opposed within the 800 feet. They had concerns about traffic congestion at the intersection of Starleaf and MacArthur. They had a safety concern about the curve in MacArthur and the speed being 45 miles per hour. They say there's not adequate signage. They're concerned with River Chase School, the traffic already causing problems. They were concerned about the crosswalk right there at Starleaf and MacArthur, and then the next traffic or crosswalk at a traffic light was too far away. But staff is still recommending approval of Special use permit 1113R2 SF7, subject to, 1, there may be additional comments generated during engineering review. 2, this charter school shall be licensed and maintained in accordance with state law and may provide instruction for pre-kindergarten 3 through 12th grade. And 3, the student enrollment capacity under this special use permit shall not exceed 100 students. And that concludes my presentation. The applicant is here in the audience as well, if you have any questions for them.
Okay, very good. Any questions of staff by the commission?
Mr. Chairman, I have one question.
All righty, Kent. I'm sorry for the audience. We have a commission member that's virtual tonight, Commissioner Halfman. Kent, fire away.
Yeah, Matt, would it be necessary, do you think, to expand the driving school zone on MacArthur?
I'm not exactly sure the location of the school zone on MacArthur. We can, I know our engineering department was looking to do a study along MacArthur there. We could include that within the study. I'll let Aaron Tainter answer that, though. He's our Assistant Director of Public Works. Yep. Come
Thank
up
you.
to the microphone there.
Aaron Tainer, Assistant Director of Public Works Engineering. Can you repeat the question one more time, please?
So the question basically was school zone posting. The comment was, is it adequate for this facility? Does it need to be extended further to the south, or I guess in both directions?
Thank you. Yes, I think we would need to look at that in the study. So we are looking at this intersection. We have done signal warrant studies in the past, and they have not warranted a traffic signal at this location, but we are currently looking to study this area and what can be done at this intersection to improve safety, and we can definitely include looking at the school zone limits in that study.
Kent, did I get your question correctly?
Yes, you did. Thank you very much. I think that'd be appropriate, given, the nature of the school and so forth.
So would that be addressed as part of the final approval by engineering?
You could include that as a condition, but since they're already doing the study,
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know that you would need to.
Okay.
think it's a
And I
separate-
think the other comment was from someone in opposition that the speed limit was posted at 45. No, I think it's 35 there.
They had mentioned the fact that there was, that there were vehicles traveling at 45 miles per hour at that location.
So they're speeding.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I do have a question, since you're here, Aaron. So the proposed traffic circulation plan has everybody coming in the one driveway, in and out.
Correct.
And so if somebody misses, they're probably going to come around the backside, or they're going to do a UE around and come around. Is the lot behind the proposed site, is it open from the parking lot into the site, or is there a gate there?
I'm not really sure. I know that, I think as Matt said, that parcel is being purchased by the city, and so the current configuration may change
Okay.
when it changes hands.
I'll ask the applicant there. Okay, thank you very much, though. Any other questions of staff by the commission? Okay. Is the applicant here to present the case?
Yeah, I think that it's a walkway.
If we could get your name and address for the record?
Good evening, my name is Catherine Clayton. Would you like the address of the school location?
Technically, your address, so if we need to find you for any questions regarding your comments.
Okay, my address is 2717 Vista Bluff Boulevard, Louisville, Texas 75067.
Okay, very good. And do you have any comments with regards to the application or presentation on the proposed application?
I don't have, I have a few comments from
Sure.
the discussion that we've heard. One is regarding the school zone, I certainly the engineering team or others will look into it. The school zone extends the entire perimeter of the property, and on MacArthur, the sign is about parallel with where the tree line meets the road. So end of the purple line, if you can see. Just to give you an idea, obviously, you'll want, a picture that shows it more clearly, but just to address the question.
And there was a comment I'm sorry, did you finish?
I finished about that point, if you have a
Okay,
question
sorry.
about it.
Yeah, I'll get you another question later.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we believe that the school will be an asset to the city, and I can address a few comments that I heard in the discussion. So the school zone is one, it's adequate for the property, and additionally, all of our families that certainly currently are driving, we don't have any students who are crossing roads or walking from the adjacent neighborhoods, so we won't be using the crosswalks. The pickup location is deeply internal to the facility, so we also don't anticipate that there would be any safety concerns for our students within pickup, being near the road. Regarding traffic, currently our average students per family is about 2, and even as enrollment's grown, we've seen that average stay consistent. So and another aspect of our enrollment is that we offer 5-day, 3-day, and 2-day programs, and a significant percentage of our students only attend 2 or 3 days. So on any given day, we would not have the max number of students or the max number of vehicles that are represented by our student body.
Okay.
Let's see. Our operational hours are 8 to 5. We put that in the record for official approval. Our school hours are 8 a.m. to 3:35 p.m., and they're offset from River Chase in the morning by 30 minutes and in the afternoon by 45 minutes. And as we've been in the area during those times, we've seen that traffic is low during that time. The River Chase traffic is not highly active. Also, we do view this as a temporary location. We anticipate being there 1 to 2 years. The max enrollment will be 100 for this facility. We anticipate and hope to outgrow it and to move to a permanent facility that can house more students. And so just want you to know the time frame of our expectation in the building. I think that addresses the comments that have come up. I'm happy to answer questions.
Okay, thank you very much. And you answered one of my questions with the offset and start and end times. So it'll be 30 minutes difference from the adjacent elementary school. That, to me, that's sufficient enough to, if there's any queuing concerns or any spillover at the intersection of Starleaf and MacArthur, I'm satisfied with that. So you mentioned the total enrollment, the maximum vehicles is predicated under the total enrollment of 100, and so it'll be a lot less because you're going to have folks coming in 2 to 3 days, because students would be there 2 to 3 days, not full week.
Right. We have some students that come every day, but we also have a lot of students that come only 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
So on any given day, we might have 50 to 75% of the total enrollment would actually be on campus.
Okay.
That's an estimate. So in terms of vehicles, if we were to say, for example, that we reached 100 max enrollment, if we had an average of 2 students per family, it would be 50 vehicles for the whole student body. But on any given day, those 50 almost certainly would not all be in line, if that makes sense.
And so your circulation plan has everybody coming in and out off of MacArthur. Is there a gate separating the parking lot that joins your parking lot with the adjacent parking lot, or is it open?
There's no gate currently, and I do not know the plans of what.
Okay. Because...
Mr. Chairman, I can answer that.
Yes, sir.
It's a walkway that you see in the upper right-hand corner of the church parking lot from the larger parking lot. that's a walkway to get to the church. It's not
Gotcha.
a driveway.
Okay.
And I had assumed that once the city completes its purchase of that eastern parking lot, that we would probably put some bollards up there to keep people that were parking to go to the park from parking in the church parking lot.
Okay.
And keeping that parking on our side for our activities and vice versa.
Okay. Because my thought is that in reality, probably someone's going to miss the driveway and they'll go to Starleaf and come around the back and they can get into the queue, but yeah. Yeah.
I would anticipate that may happen
Yeah.
from time to time. If it became a problem, we would control that, not the school.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Any other questions of the applicant by the commission? Cindy?
What measures is the staff going to take to ensure that parents don't arrive early to pick up their kids? Because I could see that as a potential problem of them backing up onto MacArthur.
May I pass that question to my colleague?
Sure.
Sure. Come on down. And then we'll,
Parents don't pick up students early to avoid, just to minimize queuing.
before you answer, name and address for the record.
Bond Palmore, 11558 Wine Cup Road, Argyle.
Thank you.
Yeah, we will have a strict policy of you can drop off students beginning at 7:30, and then all students have to be picked up by 4 p.m., and that an email will be sent out if that is ever broken. Yeah.
So I think my question was, so let's see, I forget what time school gets out. Was it 3 o'clock?
3:35.
3:35. So what's to prevent parents from getting there at 3:15 and, just waiting and backing up onto MacArthur?
We have been talking about fines being potentially in place, but that won't be a problem because we will never, even if we're maxed out, we're not going to have any cars. Even if every car shows up at the same time, we can fit them all on the driveway, inside the driveway of the church.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the applicant by the commission? Okay.
Yeah,
Thank-
and I'll just kind of reiterate what Vaughn mentioned, that currently, based on for our enrollment this coming year, we have fewer than 36 families in our entire enrollment. So certainly for this coming year, I'll like, even if every student showed up every day, we would never exceed the line within the property. And we anticipate that will remain true the second year, while our max enrollment is 100 for the sake of the application.
Okay.
I think that will remain true.
Okay. And I just wanted to make sure that, are you in concurrence with the staff comments as presented?
The only thing I was a little unclear about is if I just want to make sure that we understand you can drive currently between the two parking lots. Maybe that was stated, I was a little unclear. You can walk, but you can also drive. It is a driveway between the two. So if there's a gate in the future, that might be a plan. I don't know what the plan is.
No, the city's going to purchase that, and it's going to close probably in the next 10 days.
Oh, you're saying that it will become a walkway based on that?
It's not going to be a driveway.
Got it. Okay, yes, understood.
And you're in concurrence with the staff comments as presented?
Oh, sorry. One final clarification is that we are not actually a charter school. We are, in fact, a private school.
My apologies.
No
Yeah,
problem.
I stole that condition from a charter school memo, so I will put private school shall be licensed and
No
maintained.
problem.
Cool.
Other than that, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there anybody who'd like to speak? I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry. I forgot to ask if Commissioner Halfman had any final questions virtually. Kent, did you have any final questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, I think everything's pretty clear. And
Okay.
I support this project.
Okay, very good. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. Is there anybody who'd like to speak for or against the proposed application? Golly. I tanked it. Let me Uber retract here. Is Mr. Bond Palmore here? Oh, okay. You signed up in favor, just for the, okay, gotcha. Okay. All righty. Public hearing's closed. If there's no other comments or questions or anybody wanting to speak, any final deliberation by the commission? Is there a motion by the commission?
I'll make a motion for the approval of S113R2SF-7.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Guerra. Is there a second?
Can I have a clarification with staff conditions?
Yes, with staff conditions, sorry, Sue.
Okay, we have an amended motion by Commissioner Guerra. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Blankenship. Cammie, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay as I call your name. Commissioner Dobmeyer?
Aye.
Commissioner Guerra?
Aye.
Vice Chair Blankenship?
Aye.
Chairman Haas?
Aye.
Commissioner Bishop?
Aye.
And Commissioner Haveman?
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Item number 7 on the agenda is to consider approval of Victory at Coppell Edition, lots 1R through 11R, Block A replat, a replat to create 11 commercial lots and associated easements in fire lane configuration from the previously platted 10 lots on 16.77 acres of property located at the east side of South Beltline Road between Dividend Drive and Hackberry Road, at the request of Beltline Properties LLC and being represented by Kirkman Engineering. We have a staff presentation by Mr. Matt Steer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This 16.766 acre tract stretches along the east side of South Beltline Road from Dividend Drive to Hackberry Road. The zoning was approved in late 2024, and this is the platting of the previously approved concept plan for the site. It does not include the Town Place Hotel on Lot 7R2 or the revisions to the concept plan on Lot 6R2. This will be needed to be replatted if, say, those future cases are approved, which are to be heard tonight. The applicant's requesting that this plat be approved so they can file it and begin construction of the first phase of the project. The concept plan for the overall development of the site was revised late last year to allow for a combination of retail, restaurant, with and without drive-throughs, and a hotel on 11 lots. At that time, a detailed plan was also approved for 4 of the 11 lots, including a hotel. Staff is recommending approval of the request, subject to the following condition: that there will be additional comments during detail engineering review. That concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of staff by the commission? Okay, seeing none, is the applicant here to present the case?
Just to answer questions.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Just to answer questions if you get questions.
I figure since you're here, you might as well come down and at least name and address for the record at a minimum.
Patrick Filson with Kirkman Engineering, 5200 State Highway 121 in Colleyville, Texas.
Okay.
I am here representing Victory Real Estate Group, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions of the applicant? Ken?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have no questions.
Okay. So, okay, well, we don't.
Okay.
Thank you very much, though.
I'll be back.
All righty. Okay. Any final discussion? Is there a motion by the commission?
I'll do it. I move to approve item 7 on the agenda, which is the Victory at Coppell edition, subject to staff conditions.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Bishop. Is there a second?
A second.
We have a second by Commissioner Dobmeyer. And Cammie, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay as I call your name. Commissioner Dobmeyer.
Aye.
Commissioner Guerra.
Aye.
Vice Chair Blankenship.
Aye.
Chairman Haas.
Aye.
Commissioner Bishop.
Aye.
Commissioner Haveman.
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
Okay, very good. Item 8 on the agenda is a public hearing to consider approval of PD-301R6-HC, the Victory Coppell Retail, Lot 6R2 and 7R2, Block A, a new detailed plan development, revising the current concept plan from a Plan Development 301 Revision Number 5 Highway Commercial to a 5-story, 76,346 square foot hotel with 131 rooms, combining Lot 7R with a portion of Lot 6R, that being on Block A, on 2.46 acres of property, and revising the concept plan for the remaining portion of Lot 6R, Block A, on .88 acres of land located at the southeast quadrant of South Beltline Road and Dividend Drive at the request of Victory Retail Coppell, and being represented by Kirkman Engineering. So with the staff presentation, Mr. Steer.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this is located on the northeast quadrant of the previous case, as shown in yellow. On the left is the previously approved concept plan for the entire tract, and as mentioned, this is the plat that was just approved. On the right is the request to modify that PD to allow a 5-story, 131-room Town Place Suites Hotel on a property to be called Lot 7R2, after a portion of Lot 6R is included in 7R. The concept plan for Lot 6R2 is proposed to be altered along with this request. On the next slide, you'll see a comparison of the approved concept plan and the proposed concept plan for Lot 6R2. And then the following slide, a comparison of the detail plan for Lot 7R2. Does that make sense? So Lot 7R is gaining an acre, and Lot 6R is losing an acre, and they've modified their plans accordingly. Lot 6R2 is being reduced in size from 1.89 acres to 0.88 acres, and this is still a retail restaurant site with half of the current proposal being allowed to be a restaurant with higher parking needs. Building area has been reduced from 13,800 square feet to 6,250 square feet, and this will need to be replatted and have a detailed plan administratively approved prior to permitting, provided it complies with the building material and plant materials approved in the overall conceptual plan. Lot 7R2 is being increased in size from 1.46 acres to 2.46 acres. Previously approved uses were retail and restaurant, now a Town Place Suites Hotel. The building area has been increased from 8,400 square feet to 76,346 square feet. If approved, this will need to be replatted prior to permitting. Let me walk you through the detailed site plan proposal for the Town Place Suites Hotel. So on Lot 7R2, the 2.46 acres, there's a 131-room, 5-story hotel that's being proposed. The amenities proposed include a lobby waiting atrium room area, limited service restaurant, a 24-hour per day staff, meeting space at 1,452, an outdoor pool that's 600 square feet, an outdoor lounge space at 1,975 square feet, a fitness room at 1,200 square feet, gift/snack pantry at 400 square feet, an outdoor plaza that's 1,300 square feet, guest laundry, and the room amenities include a 2-burner cooktop, small refrigerator, and a microwave. So a residence hotel is defined as a multi-dwelling, extended stay lodging facility consisting of efficiency units or suites with a complete kitchen, which are defined as containing a stovetop and oven and a full-size refrigerator, suitable for long-term occupancy. Customary hotel services such as linens, maid service, and telephone are provided. So with the current Town Place Suites proposal, the oven and full-size refrigerator have been eliminated from the proposed room amenities, taking the complete kitchen variable out of the equation. Therefore, the category of requirements that need to be met are under a hotel, not a resident hotel. So the reason this is important is the need to comply with the 22 room units per acre requirement no longer needs to be met. So although Town Place Suites is marketed as an extended stay hotel, technically under Coppell's zoning ordinance, it should be regulated as though it's a regular hotel. The detailed landscape plan is in compliance with the previously approved conceptual plan. The same plant materials are being used, consistent with the remainder of the project. There's 21 cedar elms, 4 Texas red oaks, and there's 15 eastern red cedars and 99 wax myrtles proposed to serve as a buffer along the eastern property line. So approved with the overall conceptual plan for the entire property, and an enhanced linear park area divides the front half of the site from the back portion. The enhanced landscaping will start from the main entrance at South Beltline Road and then go eastward. Then at the center of the site, it will spread north and south. So this area here you can see is it's spreading to the north. This area will include amenities and a 5-foot sidewalk with benches and arbors situated along the path. Grass, trees, shrubs, and seasonal color will line the path. And a sidewalk to the path is proposed from the Town Place Suites, which is the currently proposed hotel, and then the approved Tempo Hotel, that's to the south. And then this path extends further south to the Spring Hill Suites site on Hackberry. Each of the remaining sites within the conceptual PD will have a tie-in to this pathway. The applicant is proposing to install this linear park with the first phase of construction. There are 146 parking spaces required and 132 parking spaces proposed. The parking required is based on the number of rooms, which is 1 parking space per room, and the meeting space, which is 1 parking space per 100 square feet. The applicant's requesting an exception to the required parking, and it has explained the reasoning for the exception in the letter that was attached to your packet, citing that most guests are are corporate travelers coming from the airport utilizing rideshare, and there's a hotel-provided shuttle service consisting of 2 dedicated Marriott shuttle vans providing complimentary transportation to and from DFW Airport and adjacent businesses. In reviewing the most recent hotel approvals, the Tempo Hotel, approved to the south, was required to meet the parking ratio of 1 parking space per 1 room and 1 parking space per 100 square feet of meeting space. However, the Homewood Suites and Hilton Garden Inn site, what's under construction on Dividend and Point West, was granted a parking variance for similar reasons listed. Because there will be enough parking to accommodate 1 parking space per room on site at maximum occupancy, and for the reasons previously mentioned, staff's comfortable in recommending the exception. If on-site parking does become an issue, there will be enough parking on the overall development to be shared. The exterior elevations will fit in well with the overall planned development. The design elements for the hotel match what was approved for the conceptual plan. Gray brick, gray and beige stucco, and ivory Nichiha fiberboard are the main building materials. Here are the north and south elevations, and the signage is conceptual at this point, and there is a note that it shall meet the minimum requirements at time of permitting. wanted to walk you through kind of an inventory of what we've got going on in terms of hotel developments here. There's 5 hotels currently open for business in Coppell, and those are shown in green. There's 2 currently under construction, which are a light blue, transparent color, and then there's 6 that have the zoning approved, but they haven't pulled a permit, and those are in the solid blue color. And of course, the one requested is in yellow. We sent out 3 notices within 200 feet and received no responses in favor or opposition of that one, and then 8 courtesy notices, and we didn't get any response from that one either. Staff is recommending approval of PD 301R6 HC Victory Coppell Detail Plan for Lot 7R2 and Conceptual Plan for Lot 6R2, subject to the following conditions. 1, there may be additional comments during the detailed engineering review. 2, a replat's required prior to permitting. 3, the PD conditions shall read, any change in building materials shall be subject to council approval unless consistent with materials of the conceptual planned development. B, all building signage shall comply with city regulations at time of permitting. C, the total required parking for the Town Place Suites is allowed to be 132 parking spaces as depicted on the proposed site plan. D, any change to the room kitchen amenities shall be subject to council approval. And 4, all PD conditions from the conceptual PD shall apply unless specifically amended within these plans. That concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt, and thanks for the background on the hotels and parking. So the way I heard it, we're kind of consistently applying the variance request for, it was the Tempo, the Homewood, but we're across the board with the other sites in Coppell?
Well, if they're not meeting it, then we have allowed exceptions in the past. The Tempo Hotel, just to be clear, is meeting the parking requirements.
Okay. And then, can you pull up that graphic again? I didn't realize we had that many hotels. Are we okay that with all these hotels? Are there any concerns with the number of hotels?
Initially, staff was concerned with adding another hotel that might sit vacant and undeveloped. But then we reviewed our ordinance, and this meets the requirements of our ordinance. And if council does not want another hotel, I think that they would be the authority to say yea or nay just based on the number of hotels in our inventory.
Understood. Thank you very much. Any questions of staff by the commission? Okay, John?
Is it normal for staff to evaluate the applicant's compliance with DFW approach zones and height lighting and things of that nature?
Yes, and DFW, they would be required to meet DFW standards, and I believe that they are, actually.
Yeah, they meet the height requirement and where they're located, and the airport will let them know if they've done something that they're not supposed to.
Okay, any other questions of staff? Kent?
No, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay, is the applicant here to present the case? Same routine. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Filson. My address is 5200 State Highway 121 in Colleyville, Texas. I am with Kirkman Engineering. I am representing the Victory Group as well as the Stonewood Hotel Group, the future developers and owners of the hotel for this project, and would be happy to answer any questions, but would start with the parking discussion and the workshop. It sounded like a mandatory shuttle would be something that would be in consideration here. Owners are certainly happy to provide that as part of the ordinance. They will have 2 shuttles, and I think to add to that discussion, these particular owners are hotel developers and operators, and they really understand how parking works as it relates to hotels, and they feel more than comfortable with the parking situation at this current location with 132 parking spaces.
Did you all investigate shared access or cross-access parking agreements?
And it's not formalized, and so, like I said, we are representing the buyer and the seller in this transaction. And there's no formalized agreement, but it's all looked at it holistically, right? And there's a bunch of uses here that will be, have peak demands at 7 o'clock or in peak demands overnight, or 7 a.m. for breakfast, and those types of things. And so there's a bunch of uses that'll collaborate together. And looking at it holistically, the parking in a whole is well over parked for the facilities that are being proposed today. Kind of to go back and speak on that just a little bit, I think the majority of the site is really settled. I know this commission and council has seen this site before them a number of times in the past couple of years. I think they've transitioned through that process and are ready to really construct the vast majority of this site as it sits. So I think the question marks and the variability that has been out there in the past is really settled. There's still some variable in the equation, but it's much smaller than it was when we were originally zoning this property.
Okay. Any questions of the applicant by the commission? Cindy.
I have a question. Excuse me. Matt, can you go back to that slide that has the floor plan of, I guess, the first floor? Just my question is on the meeting room, what's the capacity of the meeting room? The meeting space, I guess.
I can zoom in. There's two separate meeting spaces.
Oh, okay.
Let me exit out and
I just don't have a sense for that. I saw the square footage, but I don't know how many people that could fit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought you were talking about square footage. Sorry.
No, do you know roughly how many people that would?
Roughly 100.
Okay, thank you.
And so from y'all's experience, you're okay, you're requesting 131 spaces, that's for the rooms, but.
Correct.
It's probably concurrent, events aligned with the hotel or internal to, there's no concern with, an event separate from the rooms, and if you're at max capacity, the spillover?
Right. Typically, those events will happen during the day. Meeting space will be used during the day when the parking for the hotel use is the lowest. And, so that's generally how that works.
Okay. Any other questions of the applicant? Okay. All righty. Thank you very much. With that, is there anybody who would like to speak for or against the proposed application? I see a Hiren Desai signed up. For the applicant, okay. In favor? Okay. Just checking. All right. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak for or against the proposed application? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any final discussion? I think the applicant addressed the comment that Sue had brought up in the work session about the shuttle services, so that would be a great add-on as a condition. So if there's no other further discussion, is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion for the approval of PD 301 R6 HC, Victory Coppell Retail, Lot 6R2 and 7R2 Block A for approval in accordance with staff conditions.
Does that include a requirement for shuttle parking or a cross-parking agreement in place?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Guerra that aligns with the staff recommendations in addition to the additional recommendation, a condition of a shuttle service for the hotel. Okay. Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Blankenship. Cammie, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by, excuse me, please respond by saying aye or nay as I call your name. Commissioner Dobmeyer?
Aye.
Commissioner Guerra?
Aye.
Vice Chair Blankenship?
Aye.
Chairman Haas?
Aye.
Commissioner Bishop?
Aye.
And Commissioner Haveman?
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
Very good. Thank you very much. Best of luck there. Okay, item 9 on the agenda is the update on council actions. Matt, is there anything else you want to add that there was no discussion, no items for us? Okay. So with that, we'll move to adjournment. The time is, oh my gosh, I can't read that. It's 7:15, and this meeting is now adjourned.